What up, YouTube? TC Thief here. Before we get into the video, remember you can always catch me live at twitch.tv/TC Thief. That's twitch.tv/TC Thief. My stream times are 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 p.m. Central European Time. This is the second episode of 10 things Fortnite players are not doing that they should be. And remember, these are in no particular order, and we are going to start off with number 10. Inventory management. Are you tired of running around with a full inventory? Are you tired of having to throw stuff on the ground to pick stuff up? I assure you, you do not have to do this in this game. You do not have to run around with 3,000 of each mat. It's just not needed. So conserve your inventory space by reserving space for the mats you use the most. For me, this is going to be mechanical parts, mineral powder, and twine. Also, bolts. Bolts are going to take up a majority of your inventory. Always keep the mats at the tier that you're at and the tier above where you're at, so you can prepare to evolve your traps and you have materials set aside for when you evolve them. I assure you, you don't need 3,000 of each mat. Once again, remember, the first things to go for me are always going to be planks and rough ore, because these are the materials that you can farm the fastest. I conserve space by only crafting 1 stack of each of my traps and only keeping a limited amount of weapons on hand for what I am playing at the time. So I've seen people's inventories that just have a ridiculous amount of weapons around. It's not needed, folks, so don't craft those weapons that you don't need until you need them. Number 9. For God's sakes, people, read the mini-boss tooltip. I have been in countless lobbies where I've had to solo the mini-boss because people are just not reading the tooltip. Remember, the tooltip is going to be in the upper left-hand corner, and it's going to tell you exactly what the mini-boss is weak to. It's going to say fire, water, or nature, or it's going to say trap vulnerable. When it doesn't say anything, it's typical that the mini-boss is going to be tech vulnerable. You can see right here that this didn't say anything, and the mini-boss was vulnerable to tech. We both killed him with going commando, so read this mini-boss tooltips. It's going to be the telltale giveaway of what this boss is vulnerable to. Number 8. Always farm on a Pathfinder with a recon scout in your support bonus. Now, I realize that not everybody is going to have a Pathfinder with a recon scout in your support bonus, so you're going to have to work with what you got. But if you have these 2 tunes, remember that if you farm with a Pathfinder, it's going to give you 18% chance for double loot, and your tool is going to do 48% more damage, as you can see right there. 18% double chance for loot and 48% extra tool damage. So always farm on this tune. This is the best way to farm. Number 7, always farm in industrial zones. All right, you're going to see a bunch of videos out there that are going to tell you to farm in city areas and farm in, you know, this and that. Don't believe them. They are fake news. The easiest way to farm materials for trapping is going to be in the industrial zones, all right? It's got the most amount of bolts, the most amount of mechanical parts, and the most amount of materials that you're going to need. My boy David Dean did an excellent video over on his channel of exactly where to farm and how to get the most amount of mats. But these industrial zones are the best places to farm. As you can see in this little cut right here, I farmed about 200 bolts and 50 mechanical parts in the matter of, you know, a minute to 2 minutes, just by going in and knowing what to look for on the industrial zones. So farm in the industrial zones, stay away from the city areas. The loot is really spread out in these city areas. All right, the industrial zone is by far the best place to farm all the materials that you're going to need for trapping. All right, so don't believe the hype. Industrial zone's where it's at. Number 6, experiment with weapons. With the most recent update, they did an awesome thing. Fortnite devs are on it, all right? They decided to refund you all of your evolution mats, which were the most important part of leveling a weapon, all right? If you have a weapon and you want to know how it operates and you want to know the feel of the weapon, don't be afraid to experiment with these weapons. Level it up to your level and use it. If you don't like it, you can always recycle it, and you're going to get all of your evolution mats back, which are the big thing, and about 90% of your schematic XP back. So don't be afraid to level those weapons up and try them, because you can always recycle them if you don't like them. I think this is probably the only Sunbeam Louisville slugger in the game, and you can see that it was very short-lived. I only had it for about 5 seconds, but I just did this whole demonstration to show you that you can level it up with recycling your schematic and getting all of your schematic evolution mats back and a portion of your your schematic XP back. So once again, don't be afraid to level these weapons and try them out. If you don't like them, just recycle them and cut ties with it. Number 5, pick a few traps. All right, there's a lot of people out there that want to have all of the traps. All right, it is not needed. Pick a few traps that you really like. You don't honestly need to trap it all until you get to the end of the Canny Valley. So pick a few traps that you really like and concentrate on these. Don't level 10 12 traps at the same time, because it's going to be a schematic XP sink, and you're not going to be able to keep up with the schematic XP by dumping it into 12 traps at the same time. So pick like 2, 3, or 4 traps that you really like and work on those until you get to twine, until you get to end game and you have a lot of schematic XP to blow on these traps. All right, my bread and butter for traps are number 1, the ceiling AoE, the electrical field. I think it is an awesome trap. It's probably the best trap in the game. I think it's borderline that it needs to be nerfed, that it's so good. Wall launchers are awesome. Wooden floor spikes are a must, and floor launchers. All right, you can also get the wall darts are really good, and if you must, you can get the dynamos. All right, the bad thing with the dynamos is they have a really long reload time. All right, so with those couple traps, those took me all the way to the end game. I use these traps more than anything else. So once again, pick a few traps, stick to them. Don't sink XP into traps that you're not going to use. All right, remember, you don't need legendary traps. All right, epic traps are good enough. So I just recently got ceiling AoE that it was legendary. All right, I used a epic all the way to the level 94s and 100s, so you don't need legendary traps. However, the weekly market is a great place to get these legendary traps, so do those dailies, get those coins, and buy those traps. Number 4, tracking schematics. A lot of people out there don't know that you can track schematics. What you do is you're going to open the inventory tab and you're going to click on the schematic and you're going to click T. All right, you can track up to 2 schematics, and this is a great way to keep track of the trapping materials and the crafting materials that you have on hand. The ones that I track are a Shadow Shard Siegebreaker, because it's going to track all of my ore, it's going to track mechanical parts, and then I track my gas trap, which is going to track bolts, herbs, and bacon. Number 3, the collection book. Use it. All right, do you have a bunch of heroes that you have no intentions of playing? No, they're just utter shit. Do you have doubles of heroes? All right, use the collection book. All right, put those things that you have no intentions of ever using in the collection book, or if you have just heroes that are utter shit and you don't want to use them. All right, use this collection book. It is a good source of evolution mats. You can get free heroes, legendary heroes, transforms. You get all sorts of stuff from the collection book. You also get V-Bucks, so don't be afraid to use this collection book. All right, remember that you can level stuff up in the collection book to increase your collection book level. So you have, if you have just hero XP or schematic XP laying around, this is a good way to increase your collection book level. So go ahead and put stuff in the collection book, but be advised, once it's in the book, it can't come out. So don't dwell on the past. Number 2, red box expeditions. All right, so I'm gonna go back on what I said in one of my first videos. These red box expeditions are amazing. All right, I was doing red box the other day and I got 1,000 bolts back, so keep an eye out for these little red toolboxes. They are awesome expeditions. All right, remember that it's gonna cost a little bit of research points and a little bit of heroes, so don't do it if you can't spare the research points and you don't want to slow your progression. But if you are going to do expeditions, do these expeditions right here, because they give a lot of good materials out of them. All right, these are the only expeditions I do in the game outside of the free ones, so check these red box expeditions out. They yield a good amount of crafting material. And number 1, read your hero card. Before you play any hero, open up that card and go down that hero card and read what the hero class does. All right, you would be surprised how many people I see out there that are using sniper rifles on the special forces, which is totally malproductive. All right, the special forces buffs assault rifles, so you're not using the class to its full attention. So get down in these hero cards, read exactly what the class does so you can play the class to its fullest potential. All right, this is the easiest way to learn a class before you actually get out there and play it. All right, so get down there, read these heroes card, don't be bad, be a good player, and help your team out. All right, YouTube, that about sums it up for 10 things Fortnite players should be doing that they're not. All right, I have started a new account and I'm leveling a second account using all of the tips from my first video, and I have to say that I've leveled probably 4 times faster than I did in the beginning. I'm on day 5 right now and I'm up to level 40, so my goal is to be in Twine by the end of about a week and a half, and if we do that, I should be looking at about level 60, 65 in roughly about 20 days. So I'm having a lot of fun playing this second account. All right, the goal for this second account is to spend no amount of money whatsoever. I know David, well, not no amount of money. I know David Dean is doing a little tutorial where he's spending no amount of money. What I am doing is I'm gonna spend what a reasonable person would spend. I bought the mid-tier version of the game, so I spent 25 bucks on the game, which I think, you know, that's reasonable for somebody coming into the game to spend 25 bucks. I did get it for half off, so I guess players will just have to wait for that. And I bought the first troll truck llama. I only bought one of them, but other than that, I have saved the V-Bucks to get the 3 super people llamas. From those 3 super people llamas, I got 3 mythics from it, so my squads are looking pretty good for what I've spent. Remember, those V-Bucks came straight from the game. There's a lot of V-Bucks in the first part of the game for you to farm, but I'm totally having fun on this account, and you know, I want to do something similar to what David Dean's doing, but David Dean is doing a minimalist approach where he spent absolutely no money. I want to show something similar, but what a mid-tier player would spend on the game. So I'm up to about 40 bucks spent on the game right now, which is what you would purchase, you know, a video game for the Xbox from, you know, Best Buy from. So I think that's a reasonable amount. I'm not going to spend any more money on the game on the llamas, and I'm going to see how far I can get this account up. But once again, catch me at twitch.tv/TCThief. The stream times are posted at the beginning, and I'm gonna post David Dean's link down in the description. Hey, go check him out, man. He's an awesome constructor. He does a lot of solo stuff. All right, you can see here I did a SSD. My goal is to get up to Twine without using any sort of building on my SSDs at all, and I think I can do it. So once again, thanks for watching, fam, and don't forget to smash that sub button.